Now, a lot of people will say to you that intrinsic motivation is the only way to get anything done and that treats and rewards don't work. Now, there's a certain level of truth to that. It's not a complete lie. Intrinsic motivation is probably the best way to get to a long-term goal. So what do we mean by intrinsic motivation? Motivation that comes from inside. That feeling in you that says, this matters to me and I want to get it done. And so I want to write this novel because this story is important to me, because it is a message I want to get out there to people, or, whatever it might be. It's something that matters to you. And yes, if you really want to achieve a big long-term goal, having it be intrinsically important to you is really valuable. But for a lot of people, and especially a lot of neurodivergent people, intrinsic motivation can be quite overwhelming, because that feeling that this is such an important project, that this is a real mission that we're on, that this matters so much, can be it can feel paralyzing because it's such a big deal. And then how do you even get started on that? And what if it's not good enough? And what if I do this wrong? Or what if people don't agree, or they don't like it, or they laugh at me, or whatever? And it just becomes like a whole thing, and you just get really stressed out about it. So it's really good to have a balance of that intrinsic motivation and that reason why it matters to you, but also some much simpler extrinsic rewards. So what the hell are they? Hey, hello, girl. Well, an extrinsic reward is basically external motivation. So it's that thing of, I write for 5 minutes today and I get a sticker, or I get a biscuit, or I get to buy myself a new notebook. always stationery is the treat. That's the way to my heart. It's the way to get me to do anything. You get you stationery. I'm sure there's got to be some other stationery addicts here, right? Tell me if stationery is the best way to motivate you. And yeah, it can be. People tend to say that it discourages you in the long run, and there have been studies about that sort of reward system being actually demotivating over time, because people start to just only care about the reward, and then if it all becomes about that, and the reward becomes less meaningful over time, and etc. But like I say, if you are neurodivergent, or you are struggling with your energy and the idea of hitting this huge, big, important goal feels really stressful, those little treats and little rewards along the way just help to keep you going. And it really does boost your morale, and it gives you that little hit of dopamine that goes, yes, this was fun, this was good, I got something, I keep coming back. And this is something that we'll talk about more in the uprising as well. If you're joining us for that, we'll talk about things like gamification and those sorts of ways to really, dopamine up to the max your creative practice. Because if you're trying to build a habit, if you've been struggling to show up regularly and you want to build a habit, but you want to make it manageable, then giving yourself those reward cues and those signals to your brain and to your nervous system that this is a thing that we want to show up to is really, really valuable.